So I had the pleasure of watching the complete cherry boy that is Reggie to the video game industry, um, because everything is excitement and everything is
Oh,
like, whoa. And I'm like, and Reggie is the type of person that marketing teams would fucking wet themselves to put him in the front row of the audience because he's just gonna have the perfect facial expressions and reactions to zoom the
he's
camera
not
in
quite
on.
Bethesda man though, is he?
Not quite, but he's got the level of sincere excitement for product that is being introduced, right? And it's quite fun because I'm like, there's a level of absolute cynicism from seeing one too many award shows that permeates, I'd say, our attitudes. I would say.
Oh, absolutely. I was overcome with it. I was watching the PS5 event, which when I look back on it in an attempt to be objective, it was pretty all right.
Mm-hmm.
They showed a lot of stuff, and there was very little fluff, especially compared to the PC show.
Now,
But I have a lot of complaints on like my YouTube upload because it's like there's no excitement coming off of me anymore.
now,
Um,
now, from in my case, 4 out of 5 times, I just won't bother streaming the event. That's why you'll notice that so many times I'm like, I'm just, what would the purpose of this be? There's, you know what I mean? If there is something, it would be a cool moment for that one thing, and there might be a solid hour and a half of general disinterest and malaise.
I'm just like, yeah,
that is
okay.
that is not really, you know what I mean? If people are looking for a hype reaction to something, then I'm not here to bum you out for 45 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't care, then I don't care. So that's why I try to, just be like, well, I'm not going to contribute anything here, so why even bother doing it? In some cases, though, like, it is worth it when there's something cool going on.
Like PS5, that's going to be a big deal regardless.
Exactly, but like,
It's
I generally am just like, you'll see me in many cases just being like, I'll opt out of this if I don't think I have anything to really offer.
it's a weird place because a lot of it, like, because being jaded at these kinds of announcements, like, one, I guess you should be to a degree because they're ads, right? But it's like, I remember when Jeff Gersman got called out for like, why are you so cynical? And it's like, because you know enough to be cynical.
Because I've been lied to for 20 years.
Somebody in the chat points out correctly, hard to get hype when the back of your mind is screaming, you are fucking lying to me.
That's it.
There's been a lot of that, but more than that is a thing of expectation. And I ran into a very significant expectation problem with the PS5 event. And it is an expectation problem that I cannot possibly ask almost anyone in the audience to actually empathize with, which is, I'm sitting there with a mental checklist of shit that I know exists that they could show. And I go, boy, I sure would be excited if they show. Oh, it never showed up. Oh, it, yada yada. Or let's say everyone and their mom didn't know about Resident Evil 8, right?
Like me.
I would have popped off on that. But let's say, that like the Demon Souls remastered thing, that's pretty cool. I wouldn't say it's all that. So I would say that it's not all that surprising. So it didn't really get a giant pop off.
What was cool was the screenshots released afterwards that were really, really crisp, right? So this brings me to,
that trailer should have included
those,
footage,
like,
that would have looked great.
It was so beautiful when you saw the screenshots
so
they released
better
afterwards. It was great compared to what was shown. Now that brings me to my point, which is, there was a couple of times when an event would come and go, and I just didn't give a fuck. So I didn't watch it. But what I would then see is I'd go check the link of here's the event roundup, and it would just be on a page with a bunch of YouTube trailers, and then some links to some console pictures and or stats or whatever the case is about whatever was announced, and then then there'd be some screenshots, and I'd be like, oh, this is fucking lovely, and I would scroll past what I didn't care about, and I would see things that I didn't know and click to check them out and see what's going on, and then go right to the things I wanted to see, and just and that's how I liked, and I was like, oh, that was great. Took me about 15 minutes. I got exactly what I wanted out of that. I'm really happy to see the trailer for this, excited for that, and that was it. It was just the compressed info dump that comes afterwards, trims all the fat, and that to me is like worth it. That's a great experience, I love that feeling, even though you miss out on the ride and the hype train and the gags and here comes somebody walking up to the stage. What's he gonna say? Is he gonna say something stupid? Yes, he is. It's like like I'm like, oh God, get me to the fucking shit, please. Get me to the shit. There it is. I like it. Good, and we're done here. So a couple of events that turned into a list of YouTube trailers to me were they kind of spoiled me in the sense that I was like, I prefer this infinitely over this event.
You watched the PC one?
No.
Boy.
No.
That would have been much better in the format you described. Legitimately embarrassing the whole way through. Skits. Little interviews with shitty webcams.
Dude, the only time I've ever watched one of those was the one where they did the talk show thing. That was with when we were all doing it, and I was just like, okay, what are we doing here? So
I don't know how much you paid attention to that event while it was happening, but the PC Gamer one wasn't just like embarrassing and cringe. It also seriously fucked a dev over.
I did see that. I didn't saw the show, but
they had the I forget the publishing company. I feel bad, but the guys who did Ultra Kill and Dusk and all that stuff. And then they forgot to show the Gloomwood trailer.
Yeah, that's what it was, Gloomwood.
And then the Gloomwood New Blood is the publisher. The Gloomwood dev hits Twitter and goes, well, there goes my shot to be seen by all those people.
Looks like they forgot.
And then the PC gamer fucking Twitter account goes, stick around after the credits.
Oh shit.
And it's like, dude, that
because what
sucks.
happened was there was that tweet, right? The guy was like, guess they forgot me. Oh, well, that was my chance. And then stick around. And then they're like, oh shit, they caught that. And then at the end, they played the trailer for Gloomwood. And then someone was like, what the fuck? This isn't Bloodborne. And he's like, I'm so sorry that you thought this was going to be Bloodborne. I didn't want this to happen. And he was just replying super sadly to the person who was hyping themselves for something that didn't happen because they thought it was a big
Woolie.
Yeah.
Would you got access to a browser right now?
Sure.
Type in notbloodborne.com.
All right, loading. Oh my god. Oh Jesus. It links to the fucking Gloomwood Steam.
Yeah, there's also notfortnite.com, which goes to Dusk.
Oh, that's so
there's devilmayquake.com, which goes to Ultra Kill.
That's sad.
It's really funny.
Well, again, it's not this guy's fault.
That was the funniest joke of the whole thing, is when they announced go find Gloomwood at notbloodborne.com. Nothing is hey, you know what? I know exactly how to explain to people why I have little excitement for many of these award shows anymore. To anyone who watched the PC gaming show. The PC gaming show's big pop that had like a fucking person interrupt, I think it was Greg Miller, interrupt the show to announce was, hey guys, Persona 4 Golden is coming to Steam, despite the fact that it went live on Steam an hour prior and people were buying it and playing it when that announcement happened.
Yeah, that was wild. Was that announced in any way, shape, or form? Was that that was completely out of nowhere,
was
right?
Horribly leaked via Steam database 5 days ago.
Okay. Hey, the Vita can now finally, no wait, Crisis Core.
Don't worry, we'll get to play all of Crisis Core in a flashback in FF7 Remake Part 2.
Wait, no, that was PSP.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, the Vita can finally fade. The Vita can finally fade away.
You see that, the one of like the dog going to heaven? It's
Was
like,
I a good
boy?
console?
And it's like, nah, you're okay.
You're okay. Yeah. Freedom Wars, right. Muramasa's on other consoles. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's on all sorts of shit.
Or is it? Or was the? Does the Vita have the exclusive episodes and DLC stuff?
Oh, what? Who even gives a shit?
Yeah, Muramasa was on.
I loaded up that Persona 4 Golden.
It's the DLC is only on the Vita. Okay, yeah. There's a lot of cool Vita DLC that came for it.
The P4G port is it's pretty solid. It's not the best PC port, but it's pretty good.
I saw some really bad screenshots of someone's game fucking up badly.
Yeah,
models,
that seems to be on a case-by-case basis.
Models
it's not widespread.
like tripping out and just dying and falling apart. Faces and textures.
It's very unfortunate. However, it is a PC port made by internal Atlus Japan.
That is the biggest weird surprise, was that people were able to figure out, yeah, this was an internal thing with in combination with another studio, it said. But like, yeah,
so
they didn't outsource it to in its entirety to anyone.
So test game looks like. Seeing that game run at 60 at 8K, and yes, I did mean that, the game can run at 8K, is absolutely fucking weird looking. Because you can run that game at 4K resolution or whatever resolution you want, and you can kick that render scale up to 200%. And it can run at, I think it has like an upper limit of like 160 frames a second. And like it is smooth and sharp.
Atlus,
and that is a PS2 game, and it is it's, you remember the conversation we were just having about how like just give us high res, like good frame rate PS2 games. This is like an alternate future.
Is Atlus was Atlus ever like contract bound to Sony in any way?
No.
So there was always just their own choice as to like what came where.
Atlus has never been contract bound to anyone. They just decide to put a game out on one platform and then never again.
So one guy says it's just a Vita port. What's the big deal? Well, really easy answer to that question. Persona 4 and Persona 4 Original versus Golden is night and day when it comes to the amount of extra content that was put into it. A voice actor was completely replaced. An entire like chunk of the game exists exclusively in the Golden. It makes Demon Fusion way easier. It adds extra characters and confidant links. It adds like so much in the same way that Royal added to P5. But
more than that, it's one of the best games that's ever come out.
It's one of the best games that's ever come out, and it was only playable on the Vita if you had a Vita or a Vita TV. So for the longest while, one of the best Persona games ever was completely inaccessible to most people due to its
Vast majority of people, like just like
due to sitting on a fucking Vita. So the fact that it's now available to the rest of the world in a very open format, which is on PC, which guess what? A lot of people have a PC, is a pretty important step and a big deal because it's one of the best Persona games and now people can play it. I mean, a lot of people...
I'm following a guy on Twitter who's modding it, and progress is fast.
A lot of people went out of their way to track it down to play it on the Vita because it's that good. It's worth it to track it down and do it. But a lot of people that didn't now have the opportunity. So yeah, that's, you know, that it's like fucking amazing game that was really hard to get your hands on is now available. That's the end of that. Shouldn't be that much of a mystery, you know.
But it is a mystery, a murder mystery.
Wop, wop, wop.
Thank you.
It would be nice. It would be nice if Atlus decided to, you know, treat the PC as a proper place to put their shit from now on and collect all that money, all that free money that would come with taking the product they've already made and just putting it in the other place where people want to give them money for it. Because it seems...
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Seems like a weird thing when you're not bound to the platform. Like if Sony paid for part of the game's development, as we saw with, you know, fucking Death Stranding, right? Like you can understand why a game would go through those hoops. But even Death Stranding ended up getting ported later on. So why would Atlus, without getting any of that big old exclusive dollars, kneecap themselves from getting tons of money off of a PC port on their games? Who knows?
I think the craziest thing is apparently P5 Scramble Strikers. God, the fucking names. Didn't sell that great on the Switch, and they were baffled. And it's like,
wait,
that is
the
a
Musou game?
canonical sequel to a game that is not on the console you put it on.
Wait, the Musou game came out?
Yeah, in Japan.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I was like, wow. Okay, yeah, all right.
Right, and it's like, and they seem, it's quite possible they're taking the fucking result from that of, I guess Switch players don't like Atlus games.
Yeah.
Scramble's also on PS4 in Japan. That's weird. Oh god. Wait, it's not coming to PS4 here? I'm fucking.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Atlus
Just
is
put.
So it's so confusing to me because, like, again, clearly, if you've got it, well, now that we know they've done it internally, like, it would be so baffling if they continued to not follow this trend up by putting other shit on PC as well. Because again, it's free money. It's free money for the work you've already done, and no one's paying you to not collect that money. If someone was paying you to stay here and not go get the money over there, then you'd make a little bit more sense. But it's not. If that's not what's happening, then why not just go get the money? It's on the table. The table is heaving. It's bending. About to break.
Retweeted a guy just the other day, which is like, Atlus might be the most stubborn, you have all this money, why won't you make it company in the entire games business. It is totally baffling.
Like, how long since Golden?
9 years? 8 years? Almost a decade.
2012. 2012.
Yeah, 8 years. Yeah.
Like one of their most popular titles ever made. One of the most popular games they've ever made. And
also, wait 6 months to a year for your translation on every game.
And in the meantime, they're fucking running Skyrim on a pregnancy test You know, like they're porting, like it's just why can't Atlus have a little bit of that coward juice? Why can't we get a little bit of the Todd juice going? You know, I don't get it.
Like, put out SMT3 with like some convenience features on the PC right now for $30, and people will buy it. Did you see that like P4G like broke sales records for JRPGs on Steam?
Of course it did.
Current player.
Of course it did.
Of course it did. Like, it's crazy. How'd that happen? Why would PC players want to buy our RPG?
Like, just look at that for a second. It's 2012. The most popular RPG they've ever made in this franchise.
The game that completely changed their direction as a company.
And it sat on the Vita for 8 years. Why do you hate money?
So
why?
The weirdest thing. So people are pointing out that Atlus is a very small company, and that's true. But that very small company was able to license out an anime, 2 runs of an anime series, a shitzillion merches, etc. You could have given it to a decent port company, and they would have done it. Right? Like, there are so many. People are pointing out, even more indignified, SMT4 and SMT4 Apocalypse are just stuck on the 3DS.
Yeah. No,
you can emulate them, thank God, unlike the Vita, but
it's like, you know, it's just like, we're not talking about like it's like if you, when we talk about like Marie and like all these characters that show up, like, again, immensely popular, tons of awareness as to who these characters are because that many people just went out to go track down a Vita so they can fucking play the thing. And you versus something like a random side port on a handheld of like Okami Den, right? Like, no, if I asked you about, name me some characters from Okami Den, no one could do anything about that because no one fucking knows, you know? Like, it's a case of just like very cut and dry. You've seen the effort people have been willing to go to for so long, you know, and it just like, I get that they're not a giant company with all the capability to like shove it on everything, and that's fine, but like the single rudimentary PC port that would be the basis for like, okay, if someone hears about this franchise and goes, great, that's cool, I should track this down, what should I do? Like, just having a single version of it on something relevant that they can go back to. It just doesn't make any sense that you wouldn't. And
this feels like Sega told them to do it.
If it's on PC, it lives forever. Exactly.
The Sega has been pushing the PC very strongly for a long time. I want to say since 2008, more and more of their stuff is coming on PC. I will point out again the absolute insanity that I have Yakuza 7 wishlisted on Steam right now. Right?
Yeah.
The most Japanese games that have ever existed are all slowly coming to Steam. And they sold really well there. It makes me feel like and Sega does the Total Warhammer stuff. Sega does the Football Manager shit. Those are all big on PC. I feel like at some point someone from Sega said, make a fucking PC port of something and see if it sells. And then we'll give you resources to, you know, PC shit up in the future, fuckers.
I don't know why, but for some reason, I feel like even though I'd already given up on the idea of Ultimax getting ported, officially I should say, because I know people have found their arcade ways.
What?
I feel like this thing has somehow pushed the date of never further ahead for some reason. Like Ultimax is triple hard, never confirmed to ever get ported to Steam ever. So, you know,
I could really go for P5 Ultimax.
well, no matter how much awesome concept art of Cop Chie gets shared around on Twitter, you just give your hopes up.
It's bad time for Cop Chie, Woolie.
Yep. But she's wearing green and black, so she can look like she's just one of those crazy street justice superheroes instead of an actual cop. Well, anyway. Yay, Atlus. Congratulations. You've walked over to the table and you've picked up the money.
I would say in the analogy of dipping your toe into the pool, I would say congrats on looking at the pool.
All Chies are bastards? Wow.
Yeah.